I cannot believe it. It is our last fishing outing in New York. Got one. Oh, dude, that one's got some weight to her. Guys, it is safe to say I'm going to miss New York. Oh, it's a big one. Oh my gosh. Look at that smallmouth, man. I really don't want to go back to California. I'm like strongly considering rebooking my flight. One last one for the road. It's big. It's a really big one. Oh my God. You have got to be kidding me. 3 o'clock, we are off the water, and that is going to conclude the 2025 New York series. Very thankful for today's day. I did not want to leave, but I knew this trip had to come to an end. But that's it, guys. As always, I thank you for watching, and I will see you guys back in California. Well, good morning, everybody. You may have noticed we are not in a U-Haul pickup truck, so that must mean one thing. Yes, we have left New York. We are back in California. Oh man, I'm missing New York already. If you guys followed that series, I think there was like 6 videos from the New York series. We actually spent like 3.5 weeks there, so I was there for quite a while. Just an absolute blast. Amazing fishing, but it came to an end, and we had to come back to California, which I'm not upset about. Don't get me wrong. It's just always special to visit New York and experience some of that fishing. I'll tell you what, let me pull over right here, take a look at the water. Looks good. I like it. Today, I figured it is most appropriate. Being back in California, it's summertime. I mean, today it's already 72. It's only 8 o'clock. I think we're gonna hit up into the mid-90s. But I think it's most appropriate that today, we gotta go fish the California Delta. I'm going simple today too. If you noticed in the New York videos, I never once put a graph on the kayak, just because I was fishing so shallow, I never needed it. So just unloaded the graph, unloaded the battery associated with the graph. And today I'm doing the same thing. Delta, one of the things that I love about fishing the California Delta, even though it can be very stingy at times, is it's a shallow fishery. You're not going out in the middle of the channel to fish for bass, or at least I'm not. And you can rely on power fishing. It's very visual. You know, you're flipping toolies, you're fishing duckweed, maybe punching hyacinth clumps. And again, just very shallow power fishing for the most part. And that's what I really like about it. So kind of in theme with the New York video. Got the same boat out here, Titan X 10.5. Stripped the graph, stripped the battery with it. Going lightweight, so to speak. I've only got 8 rods with me. I think 4 of them are actually topwater. And I've got a finesse rod, kind of an all-purpose rod, and one technique that we'll see how it plays, but one technique that I definitely want to try today that I've never fished before. Maybe once, maybe like once in my life I fished it just to try, but never consistently. And I got that technique that I think should do well today, and maybe actually if I do well on it, I have to give a lot of you guys the assist on this technique, the potential catches, because it was kind of inspired by you, but more on that later. We're here, California Delta. Yeah, let me just pull up. Haven't been here in a minute, see what the parking situation is. Only got the wheels with me. Again, lightweight, so we're just gonna wheel the kayak down to the ramp. But I'm excited. It's fun, and as amazing as the fishing was in New York, I'm excited to go fishing in California. Back on the Delta, summertime, and we shall see what happens. Okay, let's just get started. Delta, everything looks fishy. Doesn't mean it is, but you just never know. Funny is I didn't even look at the tides today. Just decided to go fishing. Oh, what the heck? Okay. Well, buzzbait first couple minutes. I mean, that's a little smaller than what I was thinking, especially when it hit, but I mean, I'm not gonna say no to a buzzbait fish. Always interrupting. As I was saying, didn't even look at the tide table today, but it looks like we got an incoming tide. It's kind of high right now. So, Probably throw some moving stuff like the buzz, and then if we're out here long enough, if and when that water drops, which I'm assuming is probably like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, that's when we can start punching and fishing some cover, like getting into the cover. But first sign, first clue, double buzz fish. All right, there's a little buzzbait bite going on. There's another little one, but I mean, a fun way to catch them, right? It's one thing I love about the Delta in the summertime. Yeah, you might not get the biggest fish in the world, and there's always a potential chance to get a big fish, but you can almost, like 9 times out of 10, rely on at least small ones to bite, and bite topwater too. It's a river in the summer, so you're gonna get lots of bites on average. I think one of the challenging things about fishing a buzzbait, like close quarters, is you want that subtle entry. And it's a big bait, you know? So you don't want to like make a big splash when it hits the water. You gotta like feather your bait so it like just stops as it hits the water, and then you just start winding immediately. I think that's what triggers a lot of these fish to bite. If you throw it in there too abrupt, or you know, make a big splash, you might spook them. But if you can kind of just get it in there real discreetly and then start winding, making it look like it's getting away, that's when those fish tend to eat, the ones nearby at least. Normally wait for the tide to drop a little bit more for this guy, but let's just check. Never know. Let's get froggy. Let's get froggy. Get up in there. Yeah, a little bite. Yeah, maybe this is the island of micros. They want it on top, apparently, it seems. That was a big one. And I waited for that one too. I wasn't ready for him. I unintentionally waited to set the hook, so he just didn't even get the bait. Ooh, okay, there's a couple of good ones in the mix. Oh! I did get bit. He robbed me. This was the technique I was talking about. I was going to give you guys the assist for the old Nico rig. Actually, a lot of you guys told me about the, I don't know exactly what they're called, VMC crossover rings or something. I don't know, it's like a different solution compared to an O-ring, but I don't know, I was just kind of thinking, I'm a drop shot guy and a wacky general kind of guy, never really thrown an eco. So here it is, right there. These are the Magnum Hitworms. These are actually the new color, like JDM colors, Tackle Warehouse exclusives. This one is, what is this called? Mimizu? I probably butchered that, but different, something different. Specialty color. Seems like pink is kind of a trend, at least this year, for bass fishing. So these are kind of like an off muted pink. This is the technique I was talking about. It does feel like a hybrid between the drop shot and the wacky. So with the presentation, kind of these little weed guards on the hook. Figure it should do some work out here on the Delta in the summer, anywhere for that matter. I know guys use it and have good success. It's just one of those things I haven't dabbled with just because I've been so set in my ways with the other stuff. I think it's going to be worth a shot today at some point. Throughout, still think I'm going to need this tide to move a little bit more for some of these fish to group up. I feel like they're a little scattered right now, kind of in the toolies. But that's also why we bring a bunch of different rods and baits. Throw what looks right at the right time. Fish what's in front of you. I had a little one. Man, so they popped at it again. A bunch of little ones. So they want something moving for sure. Right now, problem is a lot of them are just small, I guess. I think we need a lower tide. I really do. We need this tide to drop, this water to drop. A lot of these Thule Islands in the summer, in my opinion, a lot of the fish are sucked in the middle. When the water's up, they can go in the middle. But when that water drops, they have to suck to the outside. They've got nowhere else to go, and they're just easier to target, easier to catch. You can actually put a bait in front of them. The bigger ones I'm talking. I think you can catch little ones all day, no matter what the tide. Get out of here. Back to otters and sea lions compared to snakes and snapping turtles. Can't seem to figure it out. I feel like I'm close. I feel like either I'm close or the bite's about to turn on. It's just one of those weird feelings. On the cusp. Something's gonna happen. Nothing yet. It feels real close. Oh, I got one. All right. First Nico fish of the day. Can't even say I was really fishing it. It's chunky. I think I'm accidentally swimming that in. So, yeah, I mean, we'll definitely keep this in mind. But I'm thinking, still got to throw some moving stuff right now. You know what I mean? Just trying to add another tool to the arsenal, though. I can remember pretty much every day I got confidence in a bait when I was either trying it for the first time or I finally had success on it. I'm not saying that's going to be today with the Nico, but at least I'm getting a little bit more familiar with it. I think this is a 3/32 ounce little tungsten nail weight head, and I'm actually really surprised at how weedless this is. I mean, everywhere around me is choked full of grass, but it's coming through there like nothing. Finally. Man, they are tiny in the Delta. It's okay, it's a bite, punch bite. Finally got something to bite the punch. Stay on, come on. Nope, you're not. So that one was just under the mat. Felt like another little guy. Okay. Starting to gain a little more confidence now. A little better. Alright. Finally got a keeper. Punch bite seems to be picking up. That's a lot of bites in a little period of time compared to other stuff I've thrown and not had bites, so I think we got to keep going with it. I believe tide is still moving in, I think. So I don't know if we're going to get a low tide today unless I'm out here for a long time. We'll see. The wind's picking up too, and I know it is going to get pretty breezy. These are subsurface fish, man. That's probably why they're eating the frog and the buzzbait, because they're just hanging below the surface. Right now it's below the surface of these mats, but probably where they were coming from earlier too. It's like the bites are as soon as it busts through the mat, so you know they're hanging right underneath, getting that reaction bite. Well, that one wasn't all the way at the top, but that's another fish. I'm getting a little bigger. No complaints. It's a fun way to catch them. Got the old pit boss, some purple flake, a 1.5 ounce tungsten. Big tungsten for this kind of fishing. Even some of these flips, these bait isn't even going through all the way. I don't know, I rarely go bigger than a 1.5 ounce. Sometimes 1.75. I don't even think I own any 2 ounce weights. I know guys throw them out here, but it just seems like it's a lot of weight. I feel like I can get through most of this stuff with a 1.5. You know, we've kind of got an interesting scenario presented to ourselves right here. These just super wide mats of hyacinth and tules. Like I said, I think some of them, probably a lot of them, obviously when that tide is higher, the water's up, they suck way back in there. I mean, there's protection, there's certainly bait fish back there, so it's not like there's a lack of food or forage. You always kind of wonder like how deep it is back there. I think some of them actually are deep. Like the roots of all the plants and vegetation actually create like little caverns down there that make it deeper. You wouldn't think so. You'd think it would get shallower the further in you go, but I think in some cases there's actually like a trench back there, and it's one of the reasons it holds fish when the water's high, and sometimes when it's low they can still stay back there. But all that to say, I think it's a good time to maybe investigate a little further. You guys know we brought this fella, got it on the swingable arm today, but I am going to change it up here and do something a little goofy. I'm actually going to tie this on a rod. Unscrew it. Got it on a rod now. Connect it to Wi-Fi. We are connected. So obviously portable depth finder, so to speak, but got some other information here. Water temp's 81. Whew. It's like bath water. Right now we're sitting at about 5 foot. Again, higher tide. You always got to consider the tide swings anywhere from 2 to 4 foot on a given day. So this is kind of like the area I've been fishing, punching, catching some fish under the mats, and we'll say 5 foot. But what I wanted to see, honestly, and you know, we could bulldoze our way back there, but how deep is it in some of these islands? This is one of the few that actually has an opening back there. Not much of a depth change. Still about 4.5, 5 foot back there. So about the same. I mean, granted, we're not all the way up into the junk. You really can't throw this anywhere but places where there's an opening, but it's the same depth. And I mean, that's kind of a good example as to why, and hopefully this theory holds true today, that when the tide drops, that water gets low. If it's all the same depth, then with a high tide, it can be anywhere back there, like literally anywhere back there. But when that water drops and those fish don't have as much water on their heads or above their heads, some of them have to suck out towards the outer edge. So that in combination, you know, moving tides, the current, river system, delta, I mean, that's where they want to be. Ambush points. You'd think maybe 20, 30 yards that way where you can't really get to. You'd maybe think, oh, it's probably like a foot, not even that deep, but as shown, it's got some depth back there. So I don't know, maybe one of the reasons, and probably a reason, that the delta is so healthy, just an abundance of life, abundance of fish, bass, bluegill, striper, whatever, is because they do have places like this where they can hide, and predators, including us, we cannot get to them, or it's very hard to. So that's why we have to pretty much time it out here to have a chance at these fish. But yeah, as always, got to give a shout out to the deeper, kind of multi-purpose, so to speak. I mean, for you guys that maybe are bank anglers, this example right here might be applicable to you if you're fishing from the bank and you're curious as to what depth is where you're fishing, or maybe what's underneath. Always a good tool to have. You can cast it out. Obviously in my case, usually use it on the kayak, just on the gear track, just dip it in. You can actually use a phone holder or a phone mount if you want to have it just running for a longer period of time. I more so use it just to check certain things, depth in certain areas, water temp, but always a nice option to have when I'm taking out my smaller kayaks, whether it be the Titan X 10.5 and I just don't feel like putting the graph on, or some of the other ones like the Slayer Max 10. Always good to have the deeper on hand. Good information to know. Tide is starting to move, I believe. Wind is picking up. So with that said, let's keep fishing and hopefully really get on these fish. All right, I think you guys are getting sucked out to the mats. Outer edge, that is. A little better one. There we go. Okay, I'm liking it. Little guy. All right, at least one under this hat is like actually a perfect like point this hat is formed. Almost like too perfect. There we go. You guys are under there, just gotta land on one. I don't know why it's so fun to throw a big weight with a bait on it in a thick mat and pull one out of it. Something about it, it's just so rewarding, so addicting. Right at the top, dude. See? Right at the top. I just threw my frog there. How'd you not come up and smoke the frog? You were sitting right under the mat. Man, I set into you, I thought you were a biggin. Maybe that's why the punch bite's fun, is because even the small ones feel big. Butterball. Well, I think it's safe to say, for now at least, the punch is kind of the pattern, or maybe the best way to get bit. Thinking maybe if we got here a little earlier, probably could have caught some more topwater fish. But right now, with the sun, the wind, the tide, the way these fish are setting up, it's probably got to be the punch. Could change, but so far, this is by far the most productive technique. A lot of the bites, as we were hoping, are kind of on the outside. I mean, look at it. Like that's a football field right there of punchable mat. You just obviously can't get back to a lot of it. Alrighty folks, it is about 3 o'clock. We are off the water. First day back in California fishing. We were hoping to get out here, find some summer Delta bass. And although we didn't catch any big ones, we definitely found some numbers, a fun bite. Got started off this morning. Tide was moving in, water was rising up. Had a little bit of a breeze, but other than that, pretty nice conditions. Always got to start off with the top water, so picked up the double buzz, started throwing that around some Thule Islands. Got a couple of bites, I think one in the first few minutes, not a big one. Had another one bite the double buzz, came off before we got it back to the boat, but 2 buzzbait bites to start, so certainly something promising for sure. And then I kind of played around as I always do on the Delta, especially summertime where you don't really know exactly how these fish are positioning or what they want to bite. I mixed in some punch, threw a swim bait, tossed around the frog a little bit. Frog did get some blow-ups, but wasn't able to connect. Even tried the Nico rig. That was the bait that I was anticipating on doing pretty well today, just because summertime, usually with a lot of smaller fish in the system, willing to bite something finessey like a drop shot, wacky general. Did get a few on the Nico, but like I said, it's a technique that I want to learn, I want to add to the arsenal, and a few of you guys have actually commented on me using the Nico rig or trying the Nico rig, so shout out to you guys. I'm definitely going to work on that in the coming months, just to have another tool, another bait in the arsenal. I will say though, I liked it because I thought even with the weedless hook, it was going to get choked full of grass. It was just going to be impossible to fish, but surprisingly, it came through a lot of this grass really well. Actually, most of the grass. I don't think I got really hung up at all, so that was kind of nice, and overall just kind of good to get familiar with it. But again, we'll spend another day in the future trying to learn that technique. But ultimately what happened was we knew these fish in the islands, especially during summertime, they're very, very picky regarding how they set up based on the tide. Some of these really big, expansive islands have vegetation all the way to the top in what looks like a football field into areas that you can't get to. And that's certainly where a lot of the fish live. We even threw the deeper into one of the clearings or openings in one of these giant islands, tied it on a rod, threw the deeper way back in there, and still saw that it had some depth. It was like 4 or 5 foot. So like I said, and as I'm really emphasizing, some of these islands do have depth all the way back, even though you think it might be shallow or bottomed out, and that's just not the case. And when that water's up, a lot of these fish, a lot of the bait, they feel comfortable sliding way back in there, way back in the cover where things can't reach them, including us. So my whole point being is I was really banking on that outgoing tide, having that water drop, because when that water drops in those flooded islands, those fish come out to the outer edges, the areas that we can actually reach them. Of course, this is a moving tide, and they set up right on the edges, right on the rims of these islands, and there's a few ways to catch them, but one of my favorite ways, and something that was very nice to have today, especially as it pertains to summer Delta fishing, is the punch bite. Got on a fun punch bite. It was slow in the beginning, but as that water dropped, you could feel and really see these fish start to move to the outside and position and eat. So a lot of those fish were definitely tide dependent today. No big ones, but just one of the reasons I actually do like fishing the Delta in the summertime. Though you might not get a lot of big ones, you can usually catch some numbers in some fun ways, whether it's punching or top water, and that's what we did today. Today was obviously the punch. A lot of these fish too were like subsurface of these mats. I mean, these mats were in like 5 foot, and I'd get bit on the first foot of that bait dropping, so you could tell that a lot of these fish were actually positioned right below the top, which is why I think I got some buzzbait fish early. But real fun when you throw your big weight in there, it punches through that mat and immediately gets smoked, and you set back. Yeah, it's a fun bite for sure. Guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Pretty simple, straightforward. Just wanted to get back out in California, spend a day on the Delta, catch some fish, and that's what we did. But I will say this, the next video, maybe the next couple of videos, got something pretty fun planned, pretty exciting. Maybe, at least for me, a trip of a lifetime. And I'm excited to go on this trip with some friends, with some of the crew, and of course share it with you guys. It is going to be something totally different, never seen on this channel, something I've never done, obviously. I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be special, and yeah, that'll be the next video or two. So looking forward to that. But as always, I thank you guys for watching, for coming along, and I will see you guys in the next one.
I'm willing to bet 20 bucks that one of them in the crew is going to mention something about, now we're not fishing for bass, so don't set the hook. Every boat I've ever been on where somebody mentions like, oh, this guy's a big time bass fisherman, and they're like, well, this ain't bass fishing.